Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I wanted to jump on and do a reading from my book, Don't Be a Stranger, Creating Connections and Memorable First Impressions in Everyday Life. I'm actually going to read a few segments out of a couple different chapters. And I would love if you'd share and support, by purchasing the book and sharing with me some of your takeaways and how you're implementing some of the concepts and fundamentals. Really, it just brings back to home some of the basic civilities of how to just simply spread cheer and help bring out the best in others, right? So first I'm going to read to you from chapter 2 on first impressions. I believe what often sets people apart in their ability to make strong connections is their skill in fostering positive first impressions. The strength and reliability of follow-up are also important if a relationship is to continue, but initial impressions and greetings are critical. How are you with eye contact? Do you interrupt when in dialogue or talk over others? What does your tone of voice sound like? Do you inflect up or down? Do you shy away from sharing your opinion for fear of what others might say or think? Do you sit or stand alone and wait for others to come to you? Are your thoughts positive or negative about the people and circumstances around you? They always say you attract what you think, and I absolutely believe that that's true. Not to mention, if you're thinking negative thoughts, I guarantee your face is going to show it. And is that welcoming of attention and positive connections with others? Do you pass judgment and make global assumptions about people based on a few things they might say? Are you quick to minimize others' achievements? Are you focused on how you're feeling, or do you think of others? Are you lost in thought about the best, wittiest, most thoughtful thing to say? Do you exchange contact information to facilitate follow-up? And then do you take responsibility for doing so? Letting that person that you met know that you appreciated the shared meeting and found that moment in time to be memorable. I can't tell you how many times I've said, oh, well, did you follow up with them? No, they didn't follow up with me. Guys, own your power, right? Take responsibility for those moments. And then if nothing comes of it down the line and you've done everything within your control, okay, maybe it wasn't meant to be, right? Maybe that relationship wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. I'll bring many of these up in the chapters that follow with tips on how to overcome barriers in each. But first, in any situation, I urge you to remain focused on being the light and finding the light in a room. So what do I mean by this? Have you ever seen a firefly in real life? I grew up in DC, and fireflies are one of my favorite memories from childhood, which is ironic because I'm really actually quite squeamish about insects. In the darkest of skies, all of a sudden, beautiful glowing mini orbs would momentarily appear and then they'd fade, only to skip around playfully and reappear somewhere else. I'd find myself running around giggling and chasing these beautiful lights that seemed blissfully to be teasing me. I'm not suggesting that you fade out. I am suggesting that you be the light that others are curiously and excitedly drawn to and want to frolic around with. We don't frolic enough in today's world, and so long as you're breathing, it's not too late to start. So in my psychology world, my average therapy patient is over 70 years old. In fact, probably half of them are over 90. So I am the last person you can tell that you're too old to change. I believe that part of the beauty in the journey of life is that everyone has a light. So make it your adventure to find yours and to let others know that you see theirs. It's another way of simply saying, bring out the best in others and help them shine. I'm not suggesting you take responsibility for others, but that you help create an environment that helps disarm other people's defenses, because that's all just their fears. This helps them feel more comfortable and likely to express their natural selves around you. When feeling nervous or pessimistic, this now comes from chapter 3 on facing your fears, I draw strength by recalling the poem Our Deepest Fear, authored by motivational speaker and author Marianne Williamson and featured in the film Coach Carter. In this poem, Williamson references our deepest fear not of being inadequate, but rather of being powerful. She alludes to the insecurities we sometimes feel in shining and being seen, and rising above, and in calling attention to our greatness. In part, Williamson writes, there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, and as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I can relate to the feeling of insecurity that arises in shining. I used to feel guilt and shame in laughing with strangers and bantering with people that I had just met because people around me seemed uncomfortable. I worried about what others would think of me and whether my laughter and playfulness would be ill received. Well, I no longer dim my light. So the last thing that I wanted to share with you is on chapter 12 on being weird. It's a strange title, but quite often the eccentricities and beauty and the uniqueness that we bring to the world that can be incredible conversation starters are things other people would say, oh, that's so weird. Well, you know what? Bring it. I want to see it. Did you ever watch the MTV reality show Pickup Artist that aired around 2007? That show was hosted by pickup artist Eric Von Markovic, who went by the name Mystery. I will never forget his eccentric look and accessories. I seem to remember him wearing a hot pink boa at least once, leopard print stripes, some sort of top hat. I might actually be making that up. However, I can imagine him wearing all of these things. He was a very risque dresser by conventional standards. I recall watching the show wondering, how could these looks possibly work for him? And yet they did. Time and again they did. And do you want to know why they did? It's because of his boldness, flair, engaged others in conversation, and intrigue. His quirky enhancements, his props, if you will, served as talking points. Something that a person could say, hey, that's a cool fill in the blank. Or, oh my gosh, where did you get that? Fill in the blank. Or, I love your fill in the blank. Though they made conversation fluid and people bond as they build intrigue and dialogue, and curiosity is powerful in engagement. So there's a couple chapters in here on complimenting, on the power of colors, on using colors strategically to help facilitate conversation. I tell you what, there are absolutely days I am in no mood to talk to anybody. Maybe I'm having a bad day, maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm mad, maybe I'm stressed, maybe I'm overworked. And on those days, you will almost always catch me in a bold color, a bright red, a magenta, maybe a yellow, maybe a royal blue, although blue's still a little bit muted, so probably not a royal blue, maybe a beautiful orange like the flower behind me. And the reason I do that is maybe I'm not in the mood to initiate conversations, but I'm always in the mood to receive. I may not have a whole lot of time to receive, but I'll be gracious and I'll be kind, and I will be grateful that somebody took the moment to say, I love that color on you, or wow, that's a great color on you. Because if that's all it takes to create a memory for a moment in time and to simply feel seen, to feel like I mattered in that moment in time, and somebody else can help me with that, I mean, that's so cool. And that's part of the magic that our world provides to us, right? You can focus on the fact that nobody ever talks to you, or you can ask yourself, how can I make myself easier to talk to? How can I initiate those conversations? So today, I'm wearing black, right? I'm wearing black, threw on a pink top so that you could actually see me. I'd look somewhat more professional, but I'm wearing black. Why? Because I'm in a great mood and I didn't need colors to speak for me. And that doesn't mean that whenever I'm wearing a color, it's because I'm feeling a certain way. However, I do know that colors can be used strategically. I do know that complimenting other people throughout my day will not only change my own focus, my own mindset to one of more positivity and looking for the beauty around me, but I will also help somebody else feel seen in that moment in time. Whether we ever talk again, doesn't matter. My book is not about making long-standing friendships and relationships. However, if you use it and then follow up and connect with the folks that you're talking to, you can. You absolutely can. But it's not about that per se. It's about basically just spreading the light. It's spreading the cheer, and it's making the world really, quite frankly, a nicer place to live, right? So if I can do anything in having written this book, that's kind of my mission, is simply to help make the world an easier, nicer, more lovely place to live for all of us. So with that, I will let you go. I am off to Mexico tonight. I'm super excited. I started my skincare business there 3 years ago, and I'm going to celebrate in my office in the Caribbean. So, mwah! By the way, my office is just the beach. It's really cool, actually. So have a great day. Thanks for being a part of my world. Thanks for watching, and I do hope you'll check me out. I'm on Amazon. Don't Be a Stranger, Alicia Nodeman. And I'm also in retail bookstores, probably by request. I'm not quite sure how you get your name out and about around there. I'll figure that out one day. But for now, Amazon or requested at your retail stores. Barnes & Noble, I'm definitely on their purchase lists. I do know that a friend recently purchased on iTunes, so ebook form, paperback form, either way, I would love to hear your takeaways. I would love to hear how you're implementing what you're reading about and what's coming of it. All right, bye everybody.